So I headed down to Uyuni, and again, stomach was holding good, everything's great. And right when I get to Uyuni, like literally pulling into town, it's all dusty and stormy, it's a total desert shithole town. Getting to my hotel, my stomach's like, oh god, not again. So I was like, this is not good, but whatever. I got to my hotel. The salt flat isn't right in Uyuni. It's like about 10 or 20 kilometers away from there in this town called Colchani. And I planned to drive to Colchani, which would have been perfect right now because they have a paved route. But at that time they were building the paved route and you could see it. And it was like finished, but they wouldn't let you drive on it. So I had to drive on this like dirt road. So the night I got there, I inspected that, walked along it, and it looked okay for my car, but I was a little concerned. But I was like, okay, I think we can do this. The next day we'll try. But again, my stomach was thrashed. So I knew I had this like crazy day lined up for the salt flats where I would park in Colchani, walk the 5K to the salt flat, walk on the salt flat for like 4 hours, walk the 5K back, drive back. I knew it was going to be insane. But somehow my stomach like managed to just barely hold together. And I walked all the way to the salt flat. You can see the amazing, very noisy drill bit. You can see the like amazing texture of the salt flat. There's this statue in the middle of it that you can see as well. It's Bolivia, that's great. There's like a salt hotel. You can go into that. You can see inside of it. And have some video of that as well. But the salt flat, just amazing. And I was lucky I got it when it was dry. A little bit wet in some places, but it's dry, so you get that. It looks like infinite winter, but it's not winter at all. And it wasn't cold, but literally like some of the absolute harshest conditions I've ever been in my life. I walked 28 kilometers that day. Of course, there's like no moisture. You're completely being hit by the sun. And it's reflecting off the white salt as well. So it's like, it is one of the harshest climates I've ever been in. My stomach was like dying, but it was okay that day, but I probably had no nourishment in my body. And I remember when I was leaving, I was walking back and I was like so tired, I was just sort of singing songs. And this Bolivian guy came out of his house and started walking with me. I can't speak Spanish at all at that point, but we're like trying to communicate. It's pretty funny. So I get back in my car, head back to the hotel, and everything was fine. The car held together. I have some video of Uyuni. So that's pretty much the story with that. Uyuni was a pretty ghetto town, very like touristy in certain sections, but not a lot of infrastructure. Even though they have an airport now, so they're trying to raise that up. So yeah, it was an amazing day. And then I needed to head back to Potosi and Oruro to then find a highway to Chile, because the highway from Uyuni to Chile, which would take me right to San Pedro to Atacama, which is like my next dream stop, was dirt for like 300 kilometers, and I couldn't chance that. So I had to go back through Potosi y Oruro, and then take a highway down to Chile. And that highway was supposed to be paved, and it mostly was, but very intense. So I'll get to that. I'll get to that story next. Basically, the border was at 15,000 feet, and I had to stop my car there. And when you stop your car at that type of elevation, sometimes there's a chance that it won't start up again. So I was worried, but it turned out to be okay. So I'll get to Chile and the drive there next.